Hello and welcome back to Journey Beyond. Today we will be talking about glitter pastes. So recently I just ordered some glitter paste from Crafter's Companion. So this is their new line. Spectrum Noir makes this glitter. That's their marker line and all their glitter paste and things like that. So this first color here is called Candlelight Gold. This color is called Copper Beach. This one is Peony Bloom, and this last one is Regal Purple. So I do have a few other products to show you as well, so we can do some comparisons. This brand is called Cosmic Shimmer. It's called Luna Paste, and this color is Moonlight Pink. This next color here, beautiful color, it is called Stellar Champagne. And lastly, this color here is called Moonlight Sea. I have another line from Cosmic Shimmer. Now this is their Glitter Kiss. And here I'm going to point out that it is cracked. So I did order some of these off of Amazon. I did order some of these off of HSN. And they both came to me the same way. This is Blue Teal Kiss. This one is cracked as well, as you can see there. This color is called Antique Rose Kiss. And finally, look at that one. That one's very broken on the top there. This color is called Fire Red Kiss. Next up, we have another Cosmic Shimmer product. This one is Opal Polish. And this color is Lilac Rose. This one is missing the sponge on the top. I think I went to wash it. This one is Blue Wisteria. That is my favorite color in the Opal Polish line. The color is beautiful. And this last one is called Summer Sky. I have another product here. This one is called Eyes Ink Diamond. This is a glitter paint. And these don't have any fancy names for this demonstration. This one is just blue. Next we have yellow or gold. This one's yellow. And I think I went to go fish for the other two colors I'm about to show you. So this one is black. Now this one I actually don't demo in the video. Sorry, I just realized that at the end of it. I wish I had, but I did not. And this one is pink. So those are your Eyes Ink Diamond products. Here I'm just getting some samples ready to show you. I did do some samples with embossing folders that I will show you here in a few minutes. But first I'm going to show you these samples that I actually did with the glitter paste. So this first one is done on watercolor cardstock, and this is by Crafter's Companion. And here I use the Eyes Ink Diamond. So on the top I did use the blue, and on the bottom I used the yellow. I do really like the yellow because the glitter really does show through in that particular color. Next here I have a stencil from Crafter's Companion. This is their shell stencil, and this is an 8x8 stencil. And I use the Crafter's Companion glitter paste. I use the gold and the Regal Purple here. You can see right there I do have some clumping, just overuse of product there, so just be careful when you're applying the product. You don't get too much in one area, or it's possible that I didn't have my stencil securely down when I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that one for now. So this next one is one of the stencils also from Crafter's Companion that I used, and I did hearts. So the first two on the left, the top and the bottom one, I'm going to show you what I used here. So we're going to start with the bottom there. Beautiful color. So it's the blue and the purple. And for this I used the Glitter Kiss. So that's the bottom. And then I also use the Glitter Kiss for the top. I just used the red and the pink, and then for the bottom I use the purple and the blue colors. So if you've never used glitter paste, the texture is very rough when it dries. So don't be surprised the first couple times you use it that it feels kind of rough. That's usually how it's supposed to feel. So the heart in the upper right corner that I'm showing you here, this is the Cosmic Shimmer Luna Paste. That has a brilliant sheen. It is beautiful. You can see how I do have some smudging there. And that can be simply due to the stencil not being completely flush against the paper or too much of the product. In the lower right hand corner I have another heart, the gold and purple hearts, and I use the Crafter Companion glitter paste on that. And on the bottom right where the purple is, you can see some clumping there. So maybe the same thing, just a little bit too much of the product. And here on the back I just wanted to show you, I did use multi-purpose paper. So these products are water-based, so keep that in mind. So because of that, they will warp the paper a little bit. So here is another sample that I did on black cardstock, and I did a few of the pastes on here. So the first one is the Crafter's Companion glitter paste. The second one I did is in the opal polish. So the opal polish doesn't have any glitter in it. It uses mica, so it has more of a metallic sheen. As you can kind of see there, I'm trying to turn the paper. It comes out really well on black cardstock, as you can see right there. It's so pretty. On the bottom left, I have Glitter Kiss. So this and the Crafter's Companion are very, very close into what they look like when they're dried. As you can see there, I'm trying to show you the glitter. Sorry, I have my camera angled a little the wrong way there. But so I used a golden green there. And last, I have the Luna Paste. So this is a Cosmic Shimmer product as well. The Luna Paste is brilliant. This product gives off a beautiful shine. So if you have any projects that are coming up that are dreamy-like projects or ethereal projects, that would be beautiful to use in those. Here I have some samples of some embossing and debossing that I've done. So this first one is I think I used a Darice folder, and I used a Summer Sky blue opal polish with that. And so this image is embossed, as you can see, and you can see the beautiful shine that it gives. The second image here is from an Anna Griffin folder, and this one I used the pink opal polish. So here we're just getting a lot of the raised areas. As you can see, I didn't really do the background too much. I try to stay along that raised area. So you can use that for a centerpiece for your card, or you can actually cut it in half and you can use it for top or bottom or side trim. This next one I believe is an Anna Griffin folder, but I'm not 100% sure. On this I used the blue Wisteria opal polish, which came out beautifully, as you can see there. There is some areas that I didn't cover too well that do have a little bit more white. This last one is a Creative Expressions stencil that I used. I think it's a Christmas stencil. And then I used all three colors of the opal polish. Here I used the pink, the blue, and the Wisteria. So if you're a beginner and you're dabbling in these products for the first time, the opal polish is a great one to start with because the transition is just very smooth, it's very easy, and it's a lot of fun. They have really pretty colors. That's just a piece of scrap paper that I was testing a color on. Next we're going to talk about tape and some of your repositional adhesives. So here I just have some low-tack painter's tape that I got from Lowe's, or you can also use the low-tack tape from Crafter's Companion. Here I have some pixie spray. So this is light tack repositionable adhesive spray, and this is specifically for stencils. So I got that off of Amazon for like $10. And this I actually got from Hobby Lobby. It's the Krylon Easy Tack. So any of those would work. The sprays I use to hold down my stencil, and then the tape I actually use to hold down my paper so it's more secure. I'm going to flip this paper over. I'm going to show you something with the spray. So I sprayed this piece of cardstock and I sprayed a little too much and it fell on the floor and it literally picked up everything. It picked up carpet fiber, there's some dog hair in there I'm sure, and I had done one of the heart stencils with the Luna paste and I was so devastated because it was such a beautiful, almost perfect image of it, but that's okay. So here I'm showing you some palette knives. These ones are from Crafter's Companion that I got when they released the glitter paste. It was part of a package, but you can use any palette knife. Here I have a stencil that I'm going to use from Simple Stories. That's just a bee stencil, and then I have some various stencils from Zinc Diamonds and Crafter's Companion. I actually used that flower in some of the earlier demonstrations I showed you. And these smaller ones here are also from Crafter's Companion. Here's the heart that was in some of the samples that I showed earlier. So on the back of the stencil you can see that there is a little bit of residue, and I will talk about that later when you use your adhesive spray. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with our first demo, and I am going to be using the opal polish. So in this demo I'm just going to be showing you how the opal polish works as far as just on paper, because it does come with its own applicator. It has a little sponge applicator that you can see right there. I'm trying to open the bottle. So right here, as you can see, there's the top of the inside of the lid. So a lot of times when it's brand new, that is how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to look really nice and smooth and creamy. And you can just dab or you can swirl to get the color off. So I'm going to pull the sponge away here in a second and you're going to see it. It doesn't look like there's very much on there. So you can put as little or as much as you want to start. I would say to be a little light-handed. As you put it on, you'll see that it just kind of smooths out and blends beautifully. So if you're a beginner and you want to dabble in getting into like glitter paste and these type of polishes, this is a very good one to start with. It is beautiful, has really nice shine to it, and as I'm going to show you here in a minute, you can blend some of the colors and then we'll see if some of the colors actually make new colors. I don't think I've ever done that. I think I do it in this demonstration here though, to see if that's possible. So the first color that I used is the opal polish in pink or rose. So the second color I'm going to use here is Summer Sky. And I'm going to just kind of go along the outside of that pink circle that I made there. So now if you see this one, you see how the polish is a little clumpy. So it is not supposed to look like that. So normally when the polish is clumpy like that, that tells me that the product is old. You can see right there. So if you ordered from Amazon, you have the 30-day return, I would return it and get another one. So if you order from HSN, sometimes their return policy isn't that great. It costs more to ship it back than it's worth, so it's completely up to you. But it will smooth out. Like this one isn't too bad. I actually got one in the same shipment as this that was just like rubber. It didn't even come off the sponge and I could do nothing with it, so they had to send me a new one. I think it was a different color though. But here I'm just going to slightly overlap the pink just to see if we can get maybe a slight purple blend or what it's going to look like if I do blend those two together. So as you can see, I'm overlapping it a little bit. I don't really see so much of a color change. What I do see is I can see the other color through the blue. So that's kind of interesting. But, you know, hey, whatever effect you're going for, if it's something that you like or don't like, you can play with these and mix and match and see what works best for you or whatever concept you are trying to achieve with your product. So the next color I'm going to use is the Blue Wisteria. And like I said earlier, this is my absolute favorite color in the opal polishes. It is just so vibrant and beautiful. So that's like a medium consistency right there. So I think I went to wash the sponge, so I don't have the sponge with me right now to show how this would apply with that. But I'm just going to go ahead and use my finger. So when you use your finger to apply this, you will not quite get the same smoothness as you would using the sponge. Actually, sometimes when you're rubbing the polish onto the paper, you will have some pieces come up off your finger that look like little eraser pieces. But if you just continue to rub in a circular motion, most of them will blend in. A few, if you just caught that in the video, some of them won't, and you'll just have to wipe them away. But here is what it looks like up close, and then as I'm turning it, you can see the sheen of all the colors. And again, this is a great medium to start with if you're new to this type of thing, just so you can kind of play with it. It's very forgiving, and that's one thing I really do like about it. So here I'm going to show you in just a minute, I'm going to show you all 3 containers of the opal polish. So the pink one on the left is what it's supposed to look like. You want that smooth, creamy consistency. The one in the middle is kind of the medium consistency where it's starting to age, and the one on the end definitely is an old product. I did just order that one, but it was usable, so I just kept it. As I showed you earlier, you can just continue to blend and it will blend, but if it doesn't blend and you're just getting like a rubber type consistency with it, it is old and you shouldn't use it. Here I'm just prepping for the next demonstration. I am using the Wallflower stencil mat. So you don't have to have this. You can actually just do a stencil on a scrap piece of cardstock, or you can use it on a glass mat, or if you want to do your project on the self-healing mat that I have on the bottom there, you can, but just be leery if you do use a project on the self-healing mat. The adhesive that sticks to that might be a little hard to get off, but I do find that rubbing alcohol does get it off quite nicely. So I am just going to go ahead and tape the corners and the edges of my paper down. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit so you guys don't have to watch me do this. For our next demonstration, I chose a small stencil. So here is a daisy that I chose, and this is from the Crafter's Companion stencil collection that I purchased with the glitter paste. So when you're applying your spray adhesive, you're going to want to let it sit for 1 minute, and then I just went ahead and used my lint roller in case you have any dog hair. So if you do have any pet hair on your clothing, just be leery of that, because the stencils pick up a lot of pet hair and dust and carpet fiber and things like that. So if you drop it on the ground, make sure you clean it very well. So you're just going to want to go ahead and spray your stencil, let it set for the recommended minute just so it can get tacky, and then you're just going to place it down on your project and smooth it over to make sure it is secure. Also make sure you're working in a well ventilated area, so if you want to have a window open or a ceiling fan going, or both, or if you're working out in the garage, just make sure you crack the garage an inch or so you have fresh air coming in. So we have our stencil down, and here I am showing you 2 different palette knives. So one is completely flat, one has a slight dip in it. It doesn't matter which one you use. So there's a lot of videos out there that will show you the correct way or an easy way of applying medium to your projects with these palette knives. Crafter's Companion actually has a video where they talk about how to use the back side of your palette knife when you are applying the glitter paste to get a smoother coating of it over the stencil. I just kind of go with whatever feels more natural for me. So the first stencil that we're going to do with the flower is we're going to use the Eyes Ink Diamond. So this is a different type glitter paint because it doesn't come in a jar just like the other ones do. It comes in a pouch. So I'm just going to put some on some scrap cardstock here. And so the one thing you want to be mindful with this one is you always want to make sure you put the lid back on after you're done using it so it doesn't dry out, because if it dries out it will dry the entire pouch out. And then I'm just going to apply some to my palette knife here, and I'm going to start on the left side of the flower. So notice how I'm kind of just going back and forth. I'm going actually both ways, left to right, and it doesn't really matter which direction you go. As you're applying the paste though, you will feel like a crunching feeling as you apply the paste to the stencil. So this is normal for pastes that have glitter in them. So the first couple of times you do it, it's going to feel very foreign to you until you get the hang of it, until you get your own type of system down where it's most easiest for you. I'm going to apply a little bit more paste here. And the thing with this is, so just be mindful of how much you're using, because you can't really put this back in the pouch like you can the other containers. So if you have excess of this and you don't use it all, then you're basically just going to waste it, as you will see me do here in just a minute. As you can see, I am scraping the glitter paste over the stencil, and I do have some holes in the stencil itself. As you can see, there are some white areas that are not being covered, and it could be due to user error. Maybe I'm not coating the stencil correctly, but like I said, just get a rhythm of what feels natural for you and then just go with that. There really is no right or wrong way to do this. It's just trial and error, seeing what works best for you. So as you can see, I have some excess that I did not use, and so there's no way for me to put that back in the tube, so I just have to chalk it up to being wasteful, I guess, for this demonstration. So next I am going to use the Eyes Ink Blue. So make sure you're cleaning your palette knives in between each use. You can just get a microfiber cloth like I have there on the right, the little green rag, or you can use a paper towel. I have a handy spray bottle full of just water and a little bit of soap next to me, and I will clean that off in between pastes when I'm doing this project. So again, I'm using the back of the palette knife, and then I'm going to apply the glitter paste on the other side of the flower. So this flower is going to be a tri-colored flower. The nice thing with these type of mediums is you can color blend, you can mix and match, and then see the kind of effects you get. So the effect I was going for here, it is a beautiful color combination that I used. However, as you can see dead center in the middle right there, I got some of the blue glitter paste on the pink. So it doesn't quite look the way I want it to look. But I will try to go back and fix that later and see if I can. And here I'm just pointing out some of the holes that I do have in the pink. And what I mean by holes is you can see the white of the paper through the glitter paste. So I didn't completely cover it. Again, you don't want to use too much product because these products are water-based, so the more you apply and the thicker that it is, the more it's going to warp. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your projects. So just make sure that you clean off your knife in between. A lot of people will keep a basin or a sheet pan of hot water next to them so they can clean their stencil and their tools in between each use, but I just go to the bathroom sink because it's literally like right outside my office, and I just clean my stencils and tools that way. But whatever works best for you. So here I'm applying the gold or the yellow Eyes Ink Diamond glitter paste, and I really like this color in that brand. I feel like that it has the most shine and the most glitter that I can see out of the colors that I do have. So here I'm going to show you up close, and even there in that shot you can see the glitter in the yellow shine through the most. So I'm going to put a little bit more of the paste on, And I'm trying to see if I can overlap a little bit of the blue to see if I can get a green color, to see if there's any color blending here. I've never tried to really color blend this glitter paste. So here I'm trying to fix the top. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to fix that, but and here I'm going to take the stencil off so we can see up close how it looks, and I'm also going to zoom in so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so it actually doesn't look too bad. You can see where there's some color blending on the bottom, where there was the yellow and the blue. You can see the green there. And then you can also see the yellow into the pink. But the top right there doesn't really look purple to me. It just looks like a blob of blue. But if you do mess up, like if you're doing a project like this, you can actually use your palette knife if it has lines, and you can just take that excess color off to define the division between them. So that actually looks okay. I'm not happy about that petal, but it's okay. The rest of it looks beautiful. I do like the colors that I used. It's very unique. It will be usable for a project. I can just cut out around it or die cut a shape around it and it will work beautifully. So this is what the Eyes Ink Diamond Glitter Paste looks like. So another thing, you want to wash your stencil right away. You don't want to let it sit, because once it sits, that stuff is really hard to get off. Here I've had my second stencil laid down and sprayed. I had already went and washed it and dried it, and then I went and applied the adhesive. So again, with the adhesive, sometimes you'll get stuff sticking to the inside. So whether that be dog hair or fibers or just things you laid out on a dusty surface, it will pick that up. So keep that in mind. So make sure your work surface is clean. Here we'll be using the Cosmic Shimmer Opal Polish. This is an antique rose. So I'm going to use the application sponge that came with it instead of a palette knife. I'm going to apply it this way and then see how it comes out. With these type of mediums, like that smooth, creamy medium that doesn't have glitter, I feel like this is a better way to apply it. I haven't actually applied it with the palette knife, but I just don't know if it would come out the same, so I might have to test that in another video. But here I'm just applying with the application sponge, just going around. I think I'll just do a half and half on this one, and these are beautiful mediums to work with. I really like the metallic shine they give off from the mica that's used in them, and it's just a very smooth looking application for your project. It is also water-based, but it doesn't really warp your paper like the glitter paste will, so just keep that in mind. If it's something that is a concern for you, that's something to look for. These are great to use. Now you want to wash the sponge applicators too. You don't want to just put them back in there. I'm just doing that briefly just so I can use the next color, but you do want to wash them within a good amount of time right after you use them so they don't dry out, because if you use them and they're all dried out, it's kind of hard to apply it with the sponge applicator later. So here I'm using Summer Sky, and again I have to get quite a bit on there just because it is kind of clumpy. And I'm going to use it on the other side of the flower here, and I'm going to blend it a little bit just to see what it looks like and to see if I can get a color blend, maybe if it's going to give me a purple color or if it just kind of blends over each other, just like the first demonstration I did. So it may show the color through. So for example, it might show the pink undertones through the blue and vice versa. I don't know if it will necessarily give me a color blend where I'll actually change the color. But I did get some blue on the pink side, and yeah, more so that. I don't think I got any pink on the blue side. So here I am, I'm just filling in the edges of the flower just to make sure. And then again, remember, make sure your stencil is completely stabilized and flush with the paper, because if it isn't, when you're applying the paste, especially with this method, some of that paste or glitter paste can get under that stencil, and then it will get clumpy. So now we're going to go ahead and take the stencil off so we can see what it looks like underneath. So you can see that beautiful shimmer just from me moving it. I did see a few bare spots. It's not terrible, but you can definitely see that shimmer. I absolutely love it. And then you can see right in the center next to the center of the flower, I did put a little bit too much, or it possibly got underneath the stencil. Again, I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to make a straight clean line through that because it did smudge together a little bit. So if you do have a design like that, just keep in mind you can do that if you're going for that perfect look. If you're going for a distressed look, I'm sure there's other tools that you can use, some brushes, things to create that type of effect, but I'm just trying to make the image as clean as possible for demonstration purposes, and because I probably would like to use these flowers on a future project. So I'm going to try to take off a little bit of that clumpy mess right there in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just enough to my liking. Again, if you mess up and you don't like it and you can't get rid of it, you can always put a gem over it. So those are the great things about card making and projects like this, is you can hide it with other things. So maybe if you want to put like a glitter center using glue and glitter, or if you want to put a gem over it or a sticker, you can do that as well. So again, make sure you are cleaning your sponge applicators. So this is before I wash them. You can see that the color is heavily saturated into the sponge, and this is after. So it is going to leave a shadow with the color that you used, but that's okay. Get the majority of it out and you'll be fine for the next use. Okay, so I have my third flower stencil down and ready to go with the next glitter paste, and this one I'm going to be using the Glitter Kiss. So the Glitter Kiss is another cosmic shimmer product. So this one is glitter based, just like the Crafter's Companion glitter paste, but it's a little bit different. So it might look a little deceiving, but the Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss and the Crafter Companion glitter paste is actually the same amount. So here this is 50 mils. And with the Crafter's Companion, the container is bigger, but it's the exact same amount. So just keep that in mind. There's no difference in the amount that you're getting. So here I'm going to use the sponge applicator to apply to this stencil as well. So I'm going to use the inside of the lid because I notice a lot of the times the inside of the lid has a lot of excess glitter. So I'm just going to go ahead and use that first. So I'm going to apply it to the right side of the flower. And I noticed with this, as I was putting it on, as you can see, a lot of it is missing the stencil. It's going onto the edges, but not quite in the middle. And that's possibly because I don't have enough of the product on there. So I'm going to add more. You see I got a thick amount there, and I'm actually working it into the stencil itself to see if I can get a better result. So I find that by adding more of the product, I am getting a lot more color down, but it's not going on the way that I thought it would. And also, if you notice, in the beginning I went counterclockwise, and when I applied the second application I went clockwise. So now here I'm just trying to fill in. I still see some spare spots there. I'm just kind of dabbing over, trying to fill in those white areas of the cardstock, and I'm kind of doing a swirling motion but also dabbing the color in. So with this particular glitter paste, I'm not using a knife, so I don't know if the application would be different in this particular stencil if I did use a knife. I'm just using the sponge applicator to see what the results would be here. So here I'm just wiping the excess of the glitter paste back into the bottle with the applicator. So it definitely goes smoother in with a knife, but it's still possible to do with a sponge applicator, so I don't waste it. That's the one thing I do like about the containers versus the Ising diamond pouches, is because if you do use too much, then you can put it back in. Here I will be using the Fire Red Kiss glitter paste, and I'm going to be using a palette knife to see if I get any difference in the application and the look when applying the glitter. Here I'm showing you how much glitter I actually put back into the container by scraping all the excess off. So here I'm going to lift the stencil off so we can see the results of this flower. So just by looking at it, I can see that I'm going to have to use the palette knife to create some divided lines between the petals, because I had a little bit too much product there. That's a great thing about a simple design like that. Those mistakes you can quickly fix. So I have a few more down here that I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna bring it close to the camera so you can see. So here, I like the way it came out. I don't like how I have a little bit more color of the red in the center than the blue. I didn't really see any color blending here. It's just separation of colors, which is fine, you know, if that's the look that you're going for. But it is a little bit thick. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm trying to show you from the side. And again, it's probably just user error of me putting on a lot, but it is still very pretty. Okay, so here I have my fourth stencil down. And you can see, I'm trying to show you in the background, there's a few like dark spots behind it. So that is from the adhesive. Me not scrubbing it off completely when I was washing it. So it does show a little bit of things it did pick up. Here I'm going to use the Cosmic Shimmer Luna Paste. And I have a sponge brush application. So it is spongy. It's very similar to the application brushes that were used for the opal polish. I also have a regular blending brush I use for ink blending that I'm going to use on that, just so I can see the difference of the application. So for the first color I'm going to use here, I'm going to use the sponge brush and to see how that works. So upon looking at this, I was trying to decide if I wanted to take the knife and apply the paste to the brush, or just to stick the brush inside the bottle, which I ended up doing, just so I could show you. The only thing with this that I did not like is when you apply, as you can see that I'm pointing right there, you have a tendency to get the paste on the outer part of the brush where you don't want it, because you don't want that touching anything and then dragging unnecessary marks on your stencil or on your paper. So I went ahead and I took a micro fiber cloth and just wiped that off. So here I'm just going to start on the top, and I'm going to blend that right into the stencil. So this application I found is to be very smooth. It's the same as if you were using the sponge applicator for the opal polish. The consistency of the opal polish and the Luna paste are a little bit different. So this one's very creamy. This is almost like a facial cream that you would use on your face. That's the consistency of the Luna paste. It does have a beautiful shine, which I really love. The opal polish right above it is a little bit thicker and heavier, so when you are blending it, you would have to work a little bit more to blend it, but they both blend very smooth and very easy. And here I literally just scraped off on the sponge back into the bottle, so I'm trying to salvage as much as I can because I really don't want to waste it. It's such a beautiful paste. So for this other side of the flower, I'm going to use the Moonlit Sea, and I'm going to use a ink blending brush for this, just to see if there's any difference in the application. Again, I go in there with the brush, and so I'm going to have to wipe off the sides where the Luna paste gets onto the plastic part. So as I start to apply the Luna paste to this side of the flower, I notice that the color isn't going down on the paper like I would like it to. And I don't know if that's due to it being a brush opposed to a sponge, but I went ahead and I applied more product, as you can see, and as I lay down more product, I notice that the color is now coming through. So that's just something to keep in mind. The application itself, when I was testing it, the way it felt was a little different. The sponge seems to give me a smoother and more even application opposed to the brush. The brush does work, as you can see, but I feel like I have to use more product. And if you look at the flower almost looks depressed, like the stencil is lifting, and that's what I'm trying to show you here. I don't know if you could quite see it, but I feel like the stencil is being lifted. And I don't know if it's due to too much saturation of the product itself, or if I just didn't put enough adhesive spray. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take off the stencil so we can reveal what this flower looks like. So with the exception of a few minor things that I can see where the blue is overlapping the pink, it came out pretty good. All the lines are even, everything is clear and bright. If you just notice that streak of blue right there, I can see it's a little heavy there. And then I had some glitter, I think, stuck to the stencil on the left side of the flower right there. But other than that, I think it came out really well. I'm going to go ahead and go clean those, and I'll be right back. In this last demonstration with the flower, I'm going to be using the Crafter's Companion glitter paste. And I think I'm going to use Copper Beach, maybe the purple, no, let's do the Peony Bloom. So I'll do the Peony Bloom and the Copper Beach as I'm showing you there. So when you open up one of the glitter paste from Crafter's Companion, you will notice that it has a foil seal protecting the glitter paste. And that basically keeps it so it doesn't dry out. You can take it off, but I just like to keep it on so I know that my glitter paste will stay moist. And that's actually a recommendation from Crafter's Companion. So I kind of opened it wonky a little bit, but I'm showing you inside, as you can see, all the beautiful glitter with that clear glue. And we're just going to go ahead and I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to use the back side of my palette knife when I apply the paste to the flower. And here I am opening the second color, Copper Beach, which I will be applying to the lower half of the flower. So when you're putting these lids back on, make sure that they're screwing on all the way correctly, and you want them tight so that your product doesn't dry out. So here you can see that beautiful glitter shine. I feel the paper is a little bit warped. I might have used a little bit too much product, but I'm going to take the stencil off here so we can see how the flower looks. And wow, just from that view, it's stunning. It's beautiful. I can see the glitter. The lines are perfect. I don't see any smudges yet. Let's take a look up close. Oh, that's beautiful. With the exception of a little bit of warping, I'm very pleased with how this came out. And then you can see as the colors, how they blend just beautifully and flawlessly. If you look at the center of the flower, you can see where I have the half gold and then the half pink red color, and how they just blend beautifully, and within the petals as well. You can see that on the ends right there where I'm pointing. I love that color blend. That is one of the reasons I did buy the glitter paste from Crafter's Companion. When I saw it demoed, I was very impressed. And here I'm just showing the product that I used for each flower. So that one right there, I'm using the Spectrum Noir Glitter Paste by Crafter's Companion. Here I use the Cosmic Shimmer Luna Paste. And on the top right there, I used the Cosmic Shimmer Opal Polish. And that's Summer Sky, that color right there. And then there on the bottom, I used the Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss. And that one I believe was in Fire Red and then Blue. And on the very top, the very first one, we used the ink, Eyes Ink Diamond. And we used 3 different colors for that. So this was just a small demonstration. I wanted to show you of 5 different products that you could use if you're new to stenciling, if it's something that you're thinking about getting into, and how they all look different. I'm very pleased, I would say, with most of them. There was a few minor flaws, but overall I think they all came out great. And here on the back I'm showing you the degree of warping. So again, based on which medium you decide to use, the glitter pastes definitely have more of a water-based content than the Luna paste and the opal polish, with the minimum amount compared to the other 3. So you can see the warping there on the back, just to give you an idea. But even though it's warped, it can still be used as a centerpiece that you can frame on a card base. And here I'm just putting down some watercolor cardstock. This cardstock I'm using is from Crafter's Companion, but you can use any watercolor cardstock from any brand. I have put the Simply Stories B stencil down, and I just wanted to make a note. I wanted to show you on this stencil, if you can see that in the reflection right there. So I scrubbed the stencil with an old toothbrush to get a lot of the adhesive off. So if you just rinse it in warm or hot water and you try to scrub it with a cloth, it might not get it off. So just use an old toothbrush, or if you have any type of cleaning brush, that will get that off. That would definitely help. So here we're going to use our Crafter's Companion glitter paste, and we're going to use Candlelight Gold and the Regal Purple. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the Regal Purple. And now I'm opening the Candlelight Gold. So I just wanted to show you what this would look like on a bigger stencil with a different design. So this is a 6x8 stencil from Simple Stories, and it is called B stencil. So you can see the gold there. It gives off a marvelous shine of glitter. And again, you're just going to go in the direction that's most comfortable and natural for you. You just want to make sure you cover the stencil in an even amount of product over the stencil openings, and then the rest of the glitter paste that you don't use, you can try to put back in the jar. And here you're going to see on one or two of the B's I actually overlap, so the color does mix slightly. And I know with Crafter's Companion, when they showed their demonstration video, they said you can take that glitter and put it maybe in a separate container since the two colors mixed. But when I looked at the palette knife in the end, I decided that it wasn't enough to contaminate it because most of the glitter that I got off the palette knife was still gold. So here I'm just showing you the bottle of water that I use. It has a little bit of soap in it, and I'm just using that to clean my palette knife. Sometimes it gets stuck even if you do a dry clean. So I just clean that, and I'm about to pull the stencil off so you can see the reveal. So I'm pulling this one back slowly. So here up close you can see where there's a few lines on the sides, but don't worry about that because you can always cut it off. But look at that glitter, it's beautiful, and look at that bead right in the center. It has a mixture of the gold and the purple. I'm going to go ahead and switch on the overhead light here so you can see a little bit more of the sparkle. You can definitely see it in the gold and the purple. So again, that's what really drew me to this when I saw it demonstrated, is the glitter content in each of these jars is just incredible. The Glitter Kiss is very close, but I think the Crafter's Companion glitter paste is just a little bit more glittery. I feel like the Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss doesn't quite have that shine, so I do like them both. I do use them both, so I just wanted to show you the differences in that. So now I'm just turning over the cardstock so you can see there's very minimal warping because this paper is made for these type of applications. So again, the product is water-based. All of the products are water-based, and watercolor cardstock really holds the content very well. Here is just the black color cardstock. This is also made by Crafter's Companion. The GSM on this, I believe, is 220. So that's just artist grade black paper cardstock. But the watercolor cardstock, in my opinion, definitely works best with these type of mediums. Okay, so now we're going to do something fun. I'm going to quickly demonstrate the Gemini 2. I'm going to pass this piece of cardstock through this embossing folder. I believe the embossing folder is a Lisa Horton embossing folder that I got off HSN. So if you guys have never seen this demonstrated, this is the new Gemini 2 that Crafter's Companion just came out with a few months ago. It was only available in the US when she released it. I think it was in March. And she has now released it worldwide. And you can see me trying to open it there. What I do like about that, it does swivel. That's one of the great things about this machine that I really like. So you don't have to try to go behind the machine and pull your plates out. So here you're going to see where the plate actually stops. So I don't think I had the plates aligned. One was just longer than the other, or just the way I had it placed, but the second time that I push it through here, you'll see that it does go through. In this demonstration, I am using 325 GSM cardstock. It's a very heavy cardstock. I believe the brand is called Accent Digital that I got off Amazon. And I usually use it for my card bases. So here you can see, just from me taking it right out of the folder, there's some warping already. So that pressure definitely is incredible. You can see some of the warping on the other side. And I chose to demonstrate on this cardstock because I wanted to see how well these glitter paste would perform on this type of cardstock on embossed and debossed surfaces. And before we get to that demonstration, I just wanted to show you a few of the other stencils that I had done with these mediums. So on this particular card, I did all Glitter Kiss all the way down in different colors. I had actually done these a few weeks ago and they got mixed in the shuffle of things on my desk, so I thought I would show them before I misplaced them again. But on the top is the red, the blue, purple, and the green. So I'm turning on the overhead light so you can see that glitter. On the bottom, that green color, you definitely can see that. That shines very brightly. In the second one here, I have the Crafter's Companion glitter paste, and on the top is the Copper Beach, and on the bottom is the Peony Bloom. So that came out really well, and that stencil is actually one of the stencils that come with the glitter paste purchase that I made. And this last one is a star stencil, and I can't remember where I got that from, but that is the Luna paste, just so you can see that beautiful shine. So I just wanted to share those with you. So those are a couple different other ways that you can stencil. So I'm going to use a couple different pastes here. I think I'm going to start off with Crafter's Companion, and then I'm just going to do glitter with glitter. So I'll do Crafter's Companion glitter paste as well as the Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss. And then I'm going to use two different type of brushes. So one brush I'm going to use is the ink blending brush, and then the other is going to be the sponge based brush. So I want to see how these brushes hold up when using them to apply this type of glitter paste to this raised surface of cardstock. So here I'm just going to start with the Crafter's Companion Peony Bloom, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the palette knife and I'm going to place it on the brush. I don't want my brush to get stuck in that with all the stuff on the plastic handle, so I'm literally just applying the glitter paste with the palette knife to the brush. And I think for this first one, yeah, I am using the ink blending brush just to see the application process and how well it will transfer to the paper as well as the design. So when you are ink blending or applying any type of paste like this to an embossed design, on an embossed design with this side that's raised, you're normally going to just get the parts that are raised. Everything else that's depressed within that image usually won't be colored, but depending on what you're applying and how hard you're pushing. So in this case, as you can see, it seems like everything is being colored, and then there's some parts, like the raised parts, that are mostly sticking up that are not being affected. So it is different when you do debossed and embossed. So here is the Peony Bloom color, and I am using the ink blending brush to apply this. So now here I'm just showing you basically where the color laid down and where there is no color, where you can see spots of white on some of the raised parts of the image. And then I'm going to come in with my next color, which is the blue from Glitter Kiss Cosmic Shimmer. And again, I'm just applying it to the brush. I'm using an ink blending brush for this application as well. So with this application, I noticed that I had to put quite a bit of color down, as you saw. So I feel like with the Crafter's Companion, the application, I didn't do that big of a space, obviously, but I felt like the application was a little bit easier. Here I'm just showing you, I'm not going to use a Luna paste. I think I'm just going to stick with the glitter. I'm not using the opal paste either, so I can just kind of show you a side-by-side comparison of just the Crafter's Companion glitter paste and the Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss. So now we're going to move on to the next color, and the next color I'm going to be using is going to be the Candlelight Gold from Crafter's Companion. So again, we're just laying glitter upon glitter, just two different brands, just to see if they play well together and the application process. So for this application, I'm going to use the sponge brush. And here for the very bottom, I will be using the Glitter Kiss in green. I just wanted to show you that. And here I am, I'm opening the glitter paste in Candlelight Gold. I will be using the sponge brush for this application to see how it lays down on the paper and how it works on the raised areas. So I am taking my palette knife, I am placing the paste onto the sponge brush rather than putting the brush into the container so it gets on the outer part. We don't want that. So as you can see, there it is. And so we're going to see how it lays down on the paper. So if you notice, I feel like this glitter paste with this particular application, it just feels very watery. I feel like I can move the paste all over the paper and it's not really sticking very well. Again, when I did the top part, when I did it with the brush, it didn't feel like that, but with the sponge applicator, it just feels very slick and all over the place. I'm not sure if it's the color, so to speak, or if it's just because of the type of brush I'm using. Okay, now and lastly we're going to start with the green. The color is called Sea Green Kiss from Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss. So again, I'm just applying the paste to the sponge brush. So for the top two, I used a ink blending brush, and then for the bottom two, I used the sponge brush. So here we're just going in a circular pattern again. And again, I feel the same thing as I felt with the Crafter's Companion glitter. I feel like it's very watery, it's very slippery. I feel like the glitter is not really sticking to the paper all that well. So I have to apply more product to get it to stick. It is coming off. It is really nice though. So if you want a lighter touch, and if this is something that you like this look better than the darker colors or a more darker hue, you can definitely use this technique and have a little bit of the white show through, or just have it lightly done. Here I'm taking off the tape on the bottom so I can completely see the bottom done, so I can get a better observation of how it's going to be when it's completed. You also notice that I'm lightly tapping the color in to fill in some of those white voids there. So I feel like that makes the glitter stick a little bit better. And here I'm just taking the tape off so you guys can see. So if you look on the back, you'll notice a lot of warping. And again, it's because the amount of product I had to put on to lay the color down, so the water basically is just warping the paper. So don't worry about those white lines that you see where the tape was. You can go back and you can color those in if you wish, or you can just chop them off. More than likely you probably just end up chopping them off. So just because this particular cardstock is warped does not mean you can't use it, because you definitely can. Again, you can cut out a nice die cut frame around it, or you can actually frame it within a card, so card base, card front, and it would look brilliant. Just make sure that you let this dry. So I would advise letting it dry for at least 12 hours before you attempt applying it to any card base, so you don't smudge it or smear it or tear it, because it still is delicate. Here I'm going to attempt to clean my mat with my water bottle, but in the end I actually end up taking it to the sink, because though it does get some of the stuff off, it does need hot water to get the rest of it off. So I'm going to run and go clean up my brushes and my mat, and I'll be right back. So there you have it, you guys. These are all the products that I use: the Spectrum Noir glitter paste, the Cosmic Shimmer Luna paste, the Cosmic Shimmer Glitter Kiss, Cosmic Shimmer Opal polish, and the Eye Zinc Diamond glitter paste. And here's some of the examples that I showed you earlier of some of the stencils I did. Here's what we did today with the different flowers with all the different glitter pastes. And then we have our bees that we did in the Crafter's Companion, gold and purple colors. And then of course attached to the back there I have all the examples of the different pastes, except for the Eye Zinc Diamonds is not on that sheet. Thank you guys for joining me today. I know this video was very long. I really hope that you enjoyed it and you learned a little bit. Let me know your thoughts on these products. Do you use these products? Have you not used them yet? Is it something that's new to you? Are you new to stenciling? Let me know your comments below. I will link some of the products that I used if you guys are interested in purchasing those. Again, thank you guys. See you next time. Bye.